You're a cybersecurity analyst, you just run your first vulnerability scan. What do you do with the output? Stick around to find out.
You're watching IT Pro TV.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are talking vulnerability scanners and, more importantly, analyzing the output of those scanners. And we're going to start off with one that we've kind of discussed, but we haven't really gone in depth, and that's Nessus. Dan, take it away.
Yeah, we have talked about Nessus in previous episodes where we were setting up the scanning criteria and the parameters around that. It was really cool, right? It's nice to have that stuff on lockdown because that's going to help you perform the scan that you need to perform. But once that scan is done, well, you're going to have, well, maybe you'll have some results. Maybe not. Probably, though. Let's just be honest with ourselves. That would be a lovely day if you ran an Nessus scan and you got nothing but informational type stuff back. And,
Job's done. Go home.
Exactly. Right?
Yeah, I'm good.
This is what we're praying for. But it's highly unlikely, right? It could happen, but let's just be honest, right? So Nessus does give us those results, but once we have them, we need to be able to look at them, interpret them, analyze them, figure out what is going on. What is the true threat to my environment here? So let's jump into the Nessus web client console here, and let's take a look at our lovely scans. I've already run a scan. As you can see, I've run a couple of them. And I'm just going to click on this scan here, which was against my Websploit 2018, which is a free virtual or a purposefully vulnerable virtual machine that you can get from like vulnhub.com, right? But, so I got it up and running. I pointed Nessus at it and said, scan a basic scan. Just give me the regular stuff. Nothing fancy. Let's keep it good here. You'll notice that we've got some lovely colors showing up. I do love color. It does make things easier to see. We see that, and this is our typical color motif of red bad, orange pretty bad, but not bad, bad. Yellow, yeah, it's bad. You should check on that. Green, it's all right. And blue, informational kind of stuff. And of course, it gives us numbers as well. I do also, Justin hates pie charts, but there's a pie chart down here. Who doesn't love a good pie chart? He says they're completely useless. Maybe he's right. We do have some percentages in here on what's high, medium, low, and critical, informational, cool, right? But if we go here and we actually click on the target itself, we now get a more sussed out, a more teased list of what it actually found stuff. Here's some groups and some percentages of stuff I found. Here's exactly what I found. Now, it actually, with Nessus, I found, it's getting pretty interesting. It groups like problems together. It has some sort of mechanism under the hood where it goes, that's kind of like this. No, let's just put this in a group, and I'll feed you the groups, and you can kind of start to pare down that way. So like in here, what do we got? You'll notice this says mix, so that means we've got multiple different kinds. This one is just a medium where SMB signing is not required. Hey, that's probably an issue. So that's a single one, but I do like these where it's showing it's got like 10 of these SMB issues. So if we click on that, we can see most of them are informational. Actually, almost all. Is there another page? I guess not. No. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I only see 8. Ah, there we go. 9 and 10. Scrolling down helps. So anyway, I only have one that's high, but it is high. So I'm probably going to want to look at that first. Remember, when we create a vulnerability scan and we get that report back, this is to help us create a prioritized list of activities post-scan. I need to really focus in on the stuff that's probably going to be the most likely thing that happens and cause the most damage. Sometimes people will say, well, I'm going to go with the lower hanging fruit first because some of those highs might be, yeah, they're really dangerous, but it's really hard to pull off and it's unlikely that it will occur. So I'll go to stuff that's easier to pull off and more likely to occur, even though they're maybe a medium level. So that's some stuff you got to keep in your mind as you look through these things and you start to create your prioritization list of things to do with the results. Try to figure out, is this super dangerous? So you are going to have to go through quite a few of these to figure that out. So let's click on this one. It does say it is a high risk, and it says that it is Microsoft Windows SMB share privilege access. Now, this is a Linux machine that I fired this off against, so it's probably, you're going, huh, it says Microsoft. That's because SMB is a Microsoft technology, and the Samba utility is a hacked version of that Linux typically uses to give you sharing capabilities. So let's see here. We've got a description. Good stuff, right? The remote has one or more Windows shares that can be accessed through the network with the given credentials. It says, depending on the share rights, it may allow an attacker to read or write confidential data. Sounds bad. Probably why it's got that high mark over there in the top left corner. This solution, hey, thank you, scanner, giving me some mitigation ideas. Restrict access under Windows. Open Explorer, do a right click on the share and go to the sharing tab. Click on permissions, change some permissions.
You know, Dan, I think it's interesting. In one of the episodes that you and I did, we were talking about identification is it mitigation? That's what it was. Identification, mitigation, if you will. And this has kind of done both right there in that answer. It's identified it, and then it's also giving you a way that you can mitigate that problem.
Yeah, and that's great because if you're in-house, or what I like to say is Joe IT, right? You got Joe or Sally IT. You're just someone who said, oh, I know a little bit about computers. And I'm like, cool, you're the IT person. Oh, okay. Cool. I like IT, so yeah, I'll take the job. But really got to get ramped up. And that happens a lot. There's a lot of times that does occur where people just kind of like, they knew the most about computers in their organization, and therefore they kind of just became the IT person. But that doesn't necessarily mean they know what to do when it comes to running a Nessus scan or how to mitigate the results that it gives you. There you go. Gives you some solutions.
Now, I have to understand, because you've got us a little cliffhanger here. I want to know, what did it find?
Oh, yeah.
what was that output?
I'm rambling. Let's move on. Solutions are great, but here's the actual output. Right here saying the following shares can be accessed using a null session. Null session just means it didn't use really any username or password. It was just able to access these things. It said, here's the name of the share, which is Websploit 2018. It is readable and writable. That makes my heart go pitter-patter. I don't know about you, Wes, but that's probably an issue right there you're probably going to want to address, which the solution would take care of that. I would change the permissions on that share so that that would not happen. And then, of course, here's the contents of the share. Looks like we got two files, password reset.txt and something called cryptid. Now, of course, at this point, I will take this information. It has told me a lot, actually. It has told me that it was able to access a share. It didn't need any credentials to do it, and that there were contents in the share, and here's what they were. Also that I can write to it if I wanted to. That's always fun. Now I would validate that as an actual problem. So let's zoom out here. Let's jump over to Kali Linux, and let's play attacker for 2 seconds here. And let's see here. So if I do SMB clients dash, what is that? 10.10.10.195, I believe it is. And then it was a Websploit 2018. Enter the workgroup's password. I'm just going to hit enter. And then if I do an ls, hey, look, I'm able to access a share without any kind of help. I didn't need a username. I didn't need a password.
That sounds like the old FTP anonymous logins, too. I mean, that's dangerous.
Yeah, it's basically the same kind of idea.
Yeah.
And null shares have been around for quite some time. Sure. And it has been a common way to access Windows boxes in the past as well. So I do have some stuff here. I should be able to get like password _reset.txt because I want to read that file. All right, looks like I've got it. I'm going to exit out of the SMB share, do an ls. There's the file right here. And I can cat that file, cat password reset. So it looks like it is, if you have forgotten your password, you will need to follow this procedure to reset it. Send an email to the help desk and gives the email address, include your username, set the subject to password reset request. You'll receive a password reset confirmation. Once you get that, it says your new password will be reset to spring 2020, no quotes. That's good information for me as an attacker. That's something we would need to know as defenders, that this is available to anyone. Because, well, it does say log in with the new password, right? Then you should be able to log in with your username and the password. If you're unsuccessful, contact the help desk. And then, of course, once you change your password, once logged in, change the password. with the PASSWD command. I wonder if anybody did not do step 4, right? So let's do this. If I do enum for Linux, and I say -a, and then what was it, 10.10.10 to 195. Let that crank off. There we go. It's going through some things. You notice it's enumerating users. And we saw a few of them scroll by. Again, right? We're taking what we're getting from the outputs of Nessus and applying it to see if we can actually validate that stuff. Now this is going buck wild, so we're going to oh, it's done. Yeah, but Wes, you have something.
You know, it's interesting. I don't know a lot about Nessus, but what I do know is seeing that output that it's running through a generic list of SIDs. And if you're not aware, and I'm sure most of you are, the security identifier is how the operating system knows who you are. It doesn't care that you're administrator 01 or you're student 01 or you're Wes or you're Dan. It's looking at those SIDs, and it looks like it's just doing a generic, like almost like a, let me check every single SID within this range.
That's exactly. So it is doing an enumeration of the users and of the with what it can do from the SMB share.
Scary.
Right? So yeah, it is scary because we can see there was a list of users right around, almost there. There we go. Right there. Look at that. We've got Daniel, Peter, John, and Jane, and Websploit 2018. Bang. All right, cool. Now, if we've also done our due diligence and done a port scan, look for services, done that enumeration as well, we should know what ports are running, which is fine. I'm guessing SSH might be open on this thing, right? And we can check that really quickly with just an nmap. st4 and don't worry about what I'm typing here. We're just checking to see if the port is open. -p22 on 10.10.10.195. We'll get to some more nmap stuff in a subsequent episode, but I do see that port 22 is open. I've got a list of users, so I kind of pre-gamed this a little bit. I have an ls. I've got this users.txt, so I just made a text file with all the usernames in it. So if we cat users.txt, there they all are, right? There's all the users I found and I assumed root, right? So now I'm thinking maybe somebody hasn't changed their password after they reset their password. Let's see if that works. I'm going to use a tool called Hydra, and what you can do is do a -l for a list, but I can do a capital L and tell it to look for a file, which is ./users.txt. And then I can say -p and give it a password. Now that password, I think I scrolled past it here. It was, are we on, what was it called? Was it spring? Yeah. Spring 2020, I believe that's what it was. Hopefully that's right. Let's check it. Hello? Oh, I cleared the screen. Just really quickly look at that file again. Cat, password, reset. There it is. Ah, see, I had it backwards. It would have failed. Let me copy that. There we go. Try this again. Hydra, do a -l for the list of users.txt, and then -p for whatever password I want to feed it. So I'm looking for this specific password, which is spring 2020, such and such like that. And then we will do -f, which will force it to quit if it finds, if it is successful. And we are going to do SSH at 10.10.10.195. All right, so it's somebody forgot to change their password. And now if I SSH as Daniel at 10.10.10.195, yes, I will take that. And my password is, paste that in. Oh, look, I am logged in now. Now, if I do something like sudo -l, I'm starting to look to escalate my privileges, put that old password in there, and I notice that I can run the apt protocol, which I know for a fact has a privilege escalation vulnerability. I would have root on this box in a matter of another 5 minutes.
All right, now that's a lot of scary information. Now I think I'm gonna put my tinfoil hat. Hey, tell us a little bit about Greenbones Networks. Vulnerability scanner OpenVAS. Can we see that one?
Yeah, let's jump over to OpenVAS because it's another great scanner that will do basically what Nessus has done. Now Nessus has that free version, right? But you are limited by your IPs, how many IPs you can actually scan, which is I think 16. Whereas OpenVAS, just like here is an open source vulnerability scanner. Go crazy and enjoy. So I actually have that. I'm going to exit out of here, and I'll clear our screen here. Let me bring up the login portal for Greenbone. We have seen this as well. And I think I'm admin, type in my password. If I get it correctly, hey, we get logged in. And just like with Nessus, I've already pre-run a scan for us because they take a while. So be prepared if you're going to run a scan against something for it to take a minute for it to actually finish. So I've pre-gamed this and I've got some reports. Let me click on reports. I think I clicked on reports. You can do it. I'm already there. Yes, I'm already there. And I've got this one right here, this prod scan. I'll click on that. And of course, just like with Nessus, it kind of gives me some information. And if I click on the results, I'm starting to see problems that it discovered, right? And of course, high, medium, low kind of stuff, the information about it, the quality of, I think the QOD is quality of determination. I'm not 100% on that, but, or quality of detection. But let's take a look at some of these things that say high. Just a new, I like this one. Let's just go with the first one on top of the list here. Used command echo VT. So it's showing you this. And it even shows you that this is the CVE. The Wes helped me out with acronyms: common vulnerability
And exposure.
And exposure. I'm not great with acronyms. So it's telling you what CVE it actually used or that it was vulnerable to. And it does say right here as well, result is vulnerable to CVE 2014-6278. So if you wanted to learn more about that, you could Google search that or go to somewhere to learn more about it. But it was able to just issue this command and get a shell. So that's scary dangerous. And here you go. It even has references down at the bottom. Love it when it does this. So you can just click on this and it will take you to more information about that. Of course, I can't find it because I'm not connected to the internet right now because I've got some dangerous boxes that would leave me vulnerable if I did. So I don't have that going on. But I would want to go through all of these results, especially the ones that say high. And a lot of times that's exactly what you're looking for, those high, critical. But don't forget your mediums. Don't forget your lows, right? Don't forget to manually test them, right? Just because it says that it is vulnerable to new bash stacked redirects, aka redir stacked memory corruption vulnerability, doesn't mean it actually is. You need to go in and test that. You need to verify the results that it got because that verification step is super necessary. Got some Java OS end of life, letting you know, hey, this operating system probably needs to be updated. Now there is another scanner they call out in the exam. It's Qualys. It's going to be a lather, rinse, repeat. You're going to see, it's just going to be in a different wrapper. It is a cloud-based, so you'll be working out of the cloud instead of installing it locally on your machine or onto a server or to an appliance. You'll just log into your cloud platform for Qualys, load your IPs, scan, it'll give you the results. You'll want to look at those results, but you're going to get the same kind of stuff. It's going to find the vulnerabilities. It's going to give you information about that. Also does give you mitigations or solutions to get around it, but you need to get some hands on. You can't create a free account with them. I had a little trouble with them sending me my activation code, so I didn't really have it for this. Not that it was absolutely necessary, but I do encourage you to go out to Qualys and create an account, log in, play around with it, see what the output looks like, and see if you can't verify some vulnerabilities on a system of your own.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. Well, in this episode, we got to look at what are the results. You know, when we look at results, what do they mean, right? So we got to see things like Nessus as well as OpenVOS and talk a little bit about Qualys as well. Thank you for helping me out with that name. I would definitely have fell on my face on that name. Quails.
Weird. Yeah.
That's right. However, I had to say we have a lot more to come when it comes to the CySA Plus shows, and we hope to see you there.
Thank you for watching IT Pro TV.